Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from within the ropes and also the Pulley Cast. It's BrianTronic. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Glad to be back. How are you?
I'm good, man. Missed ya. I feel like the last couple months for me personally, it's just been very chaotic. And I talked about it a couple episodes ago. It's just, for anyone who doesn't know, I'll just re-say this again. It's like from Thanksgiving to Christmas, it's like the busiest time for me as far as work goes. I have the new job title at work and some new responsibilities. So much is going on just to get ready for vacation. And then like when I went on vacation the last 2 weeks in December, I just wanted a break from a lot of things and just rest up, recharge the battery. So I was still watching wrestling, but just wasn't recording as much. I just needed a little break. And, so I feel like I've been playing catch up now as far as podcasting goes and getting back into the groove of things. And so needless to say, it's great to talk to you again. I feel like it's been way too long now.
Yes.
So, it's you and I tonight. Got a lot to talk about. We got some, clickbait news to talk about. Also, we will recap and review tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. I'm glad we're actually recording tonight, right after the show. That's something I kind of want to get back into, is like maybe AEW talk or related episode middle of the week, and like WWE stuff maybe on the weekend. I just kind of want to spread it out a little bit more. From a listening standpoint for everyone out there. So, but yeah, so much to get into.
Yes.
So yeah, let's jump right into it. So yeah, we got some clickbait news. And I think Brian, I saw even you post about this online. I saw a lot of people post about it. So, the latest is, in regards to Monday Night Raw and Vince McMahon. And apparently the rumor is that Vince McMahon has given up on pushing Finn Balor on the main roster. So, long story short, WrestlingNews.co reported from their source that Vince McMahon has kind of just given up on pushing Finn Balor. Just sees him more as a mid-carder. And the way he's been used on television as of late, he's been filling that role that Jeff Hardy was kind of having as far as a veteran, help put over the younger talent. Yeah. And case in point, on Monday Night Raw, he's been lately in a program with Austin Theory. Austin Theory seems to be Vince McMahon's new baby project, because Vince McMahon, he hasn't been on TV in ages. He's been on TV working with Austin Theory on screen. So that's a big deal that he is coming back out, bringing back the Mr. McMahon type character, working with Austin Theory and doing these segments with him. So obviously looks like he's going to get a push. Austin Theory beat Finn Balor again this past Monday night on Raw after Finn was off for a couple weeks. So, and another rumor is, I guess, Austin Theory is supposed to going to get a big push at the Rumble. I think Vince sees him as a main eventer within the next year. But as far as the Rumble goes, he's rumored to maybe beat the last 4 or 5 in that match. So a lot to unpack here. So yeah, just turn to you, man. It for me, it's kind of heartbreaking to hear that Finn Balor is not in Vince's good graces, or at least, thinks highly of him anymore. But yeah, your thoughts on the fact that I guess he's not going to be in the main event scene anytime soon.
Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I feel like anyone who goes through like a like Finn, when he went down with that injury, when he became Universal Champion, and and he had to obviously vacate the championship and take that time off. I don't think he ever really recovered on the main roster since then. I know that this was after I know his run with the Intercontinental title. That was well after, right?
Yeah, it was, and that was with Bobby Lashley, right? Roughly,
yeah.
That was a couple years ago now.
Yeah. So I mean, they, I guess they tried. I think that Vince is more in love with the Demon character than he is with Finn Balor, like the normal, character. I think that, and I mean, history. I mean, just from the history, Vince loves his characters. He loves,
attractions.
The attractions, the special attractions. That's the money makers. To him. So I feel like Finn Balor, he's phenomenal in the ring, in my opinion. He's one of the greats as far as the new generation. And even for me, sometimes when I look at it, I don't really know, like, when you differentiate like the Finn Balor versus the Fiend, like what are the differences other than the fact that one, has the cool entrance, the face paint, the body paint, and all of that. There's really not much in-ring style difference. I know people are probably going to hate that I'm saying this.
As far as Finn versus the Demon character persona.
So, exactly. And I don't want to use this moment to try and make it seem like I agree with why Vince may be like done or not, have like look at Finn as a mid-carder more than a main eventer or anything like that. But I mean, I've talked to several people over the years. Even I've had this conversation with several people. Like, what about Finn Balor is there that's different when he becomes the Demon versus just being Finn Balor? Like, he hasn't done much to even over all these years. Like, he hasn't done much evolving himself. He did have a little a bit of evolution when he went to NXT, which is why everybody loved it so much, because it was it reminded them of how he was when he was in New Japan before, like just this just badass dude that people just love to watch wrestle, and people just love, right? He seemed like he went back to being the old Finn Balor when he went back to NXT, but then on the main roster it seems a bit watered down. So I don't know, man. It's tough. It's unfortunate that news came out that Vince may feel that way, because you know what happens when he feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if he'll get released anytime soon. I don't want to see that, but there are, based on their track record the last couple of years, anyone who kind of falls out of the graces of Vince McMahon, doesn't see them have any value anymore, then are they potential in the chopping block? I hope that's not the case.
Well, either that or they'll probably sit in catering. I mean, the fact that he looks at him as a veteran who can get young guys over, I don't think that that's a bad idea necessarily.
Yeah.
Because anything good can come out of that. I mean, something could happen. It may be good for Finn. Finn may be the one to actually come out on top in some of these programs. You never know.
Yeah, well, the other thing, too, is I think, as you just mentioned, he had this great second run in NXT. He was champion again, had some amazing matches with everyone down there, Adam Cole, Cross, and just all the different programs he had down there. So you're like, oh my, and he became like, when he was on the main roster originally, a few years ago, he was just like smiling a lot and just going through, it was just like, hey, he's like just a smiley baby face. But when he was in NXT, he kind of got a little bit darker and gritty again and just more aggressive. And it's like, he's got a badass edge around him. So we're like,
he was the prince.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this momentum can go back to the main roster. Yeah, he can totally be in the main event scene and kick some ass. No, sure enough, he comes back and he's just smiling again. He had that little, he came back to SmackDown. He had the little thing with Roman, but then Cena took his spot, and, and then after SummerSlam, then he gets drafted to Raw. But it's just been back to the old Finn as far as smiling and, hey, I'm here. And it's like, It's just frustrating. You invested so much time as a fan with this second NXT run. You're like, this is good. And then sure enough, it goes back to Raw and SmackDown, and it's just business as usual, the old way. I'm like, oh my God. And I don't know. I'm thinking about this and it's like, maybe, I wasn't really going to bring it up tonight, but NXT had some more releases in the last few weeks between Samoa Joe and William Regal and people behind the scenes that worked for NXT in the old era. And the connection for a lot of them was they were all Triple H's people that he brought in, his team that allegedly this was his team he was building for one day, hopefully take over the main roster after Vince. And so with that being said, you can argue, well, technically Finn was a Triple H guy, so maybe Vince is like, oh, you're Triple H's guy, and he kind of puts the blame on him a little bit for NXT's failure in the Wednesday Night Wars and not beating AEW. So I'm sure, and with NXT's whole rebranding and changing of the philosophy of like who they sign and bring to the Performance Center, they want young, big guys. And unfortunately, Finn doesn't fit that mold. He's in his late 30s. He's smaller. So that's another thing, too. I'm thinking it's like maybe Vince just like he doesn't fit his idea of what a main eventer looks like. So that could be something else that maybe Finn is at a disadvantage when it comes to Vince McMahon's booking. And so, another thing, too, is like, is this some weird maybe punishment as well? Because like, he sees him as a Triple H guy and he was in NXT during the Wednesday Night Wars, and I'm sure Vince is upset that NXT didn't ever beat AEW, so maybe there are people conspiracy theory that's why NXT's got this whole revamp, because it's a form of punishment for losing the Wednesday Night Wars. So I don't know, you can just rumor alone makes you really think of like all the connecting the dots is like, okay, well. And another thing too, remember he got injured, when he won a Universal title in 2016. So Vince is like, all right, this is a smaller guy that I'm not used. This is not the type of guy I'm usually put my championship on. But maybe at the time Triple H has influences. I think you should, and Vince agreed. Sure enough, he get injured and has to release the title the next night on Raw. So Vince is like, I'm not going to invest. I'm not going to put all my go all in with my money on him anymore. So that's the other thing too. It's like maybe Vince is like, he's scarred from that. What happened 6 years ago,
right? Well, then, and another thing I like to look at too is, excuse me, just the fact that Finn Balor, like you can't really change who Finn Balor is. He's kind of like AJ Styles, and I've said this before also, like. It seems like the direction that WWE is going, and just with the way NXT is going and who's coming through there, and you see all these new characters and new people, and Finn Balor's not someone who can be changed. Like you can't just take Finn and make him Captain so-and-so or Mr. this person, you can't do that to Finn because he hasn't always been Finn Balor, right? I mean, they did that much by changing his name when he came to NXT.
Yeah.
But that's it. They changed his name. They didn't really change his look up very much. He's still able to wear the body paint, which obviously I think Vince loves. But, what else can you really do? Maybe Vince feels like, well, I can't really change him, if I do that, then obviously, the backlash you're going to get from that. I mean, he is who he is, he's like I say, he's like AJ Styles. You can't make AJ Styles anything else because he's AJ Styles. So I feel like that's, partly why they've got this new method down in NXT 2.0 for the future of WWE. I feel like, so that, hey, if you come to the main roster, if Vince takes one look at you and says, you know what? We're going to put a cape on you. Like you're going to be Power Ranger Zeo number 5 like that.
Yes. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know. It's like I said, we love Finn Balor. We think he's a main eventer. We love watching him wrestle, but if you start looking back on what's going on in WWE as of late, there's a lot of things that go against him. Like I said, He's older. He's smaller.
Yep.
He was in NXT when they lost the Wednesday Night War, so maybe Vince sees him as a failure, and plus he's a Triple H guy. And last time he did invest in him and said, "I'll put the title on him," he gets hurt. So I think there's a lot of things in his Vince thinks about. It's like there's more negative things that happen with him when I invested in him than good. So
yeah,
it's a bummer. I mean, hopefully things can change. I think it's important because the roster is much smaller now, and I do think they need fresher names in the main event scene. I think Finn could be someone,
or at least back in the mid card. Like when you talk about, Vince looks at him as more of a mid carder. Like they're not even using him as. I mean, he could be a great opponent for Damian Priest. Yeah. He can go to SmackDown and finally challenge Nakamura for the Intercontinental title. Like, just something like. Yeah. But he's not doing anything. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see. I mean, like I said, we want to be optimistic. We love Finn. We hope things look up for him in 2022. So we shall wait and see. Well, speaking of the main roster and WWE, so news broke out a few days ago that Mustafa Ali asked for his release. He posted on social media, like this little fancy like graphic. It's like a photo of him, and it's like a video file or special effect where like this text appears over. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully, I'm describing it right. But he just said, more or less, I have a message that is much bigger than my dreams of pro wrestling. Despite my best efforts, I will not be able to deliver this message while working with WWE. Therefore, I'm requesting my release from WWE. Wow. So a lot to unpack right there that he's requesting his release. Yeah. Then Fightful reported that, what's been going on with him. He hasn't been on TV that much in the last couple months. I mean, apparently I think he had a baby, so he did take some time off for that. But outside of that, he just has not been on TV at all. I mean, last we saw was him and Mansoor were, feuding.
The last match he had was at Crown Jewel, right?
Yeah.
Or the night after, or the SmackDown after Crown Jewel, I think.
Yeah.
When they had that rematch.
So, so apparently the rumor is, him and Vince McMahon had a big argument. This was due, let's see. So I guess he, I'm just looking at the website here, but I guess Vince McMahon, pitched him an idea for a new gimmick. Ali did not like it, got mad. They had an argument over it. And Vince got upset, and that's why he's been on TV ever since, and therefore asking for his release. Man, so yeah, Brian, two things here as far as your thoughts on him asking for his release, and then second about that whole, falling out with Vince McMahon. Like, what could all that mean?
Yeah, him asking for his release, it was kind of shocking at first because I honestly thought he was just on maternity leave and he would be back once he was done. But then I'm not shocked because he does seem like someone who just wants to, wrestle and wants to, put out a bigger message. And, even like he said in his posts, he knows that he can't do that with WWE. Mm-hmm. His options are very slim. Is very limited there as far as what he can do. And I think just he knows that there's a lot of opportunity out there. For him to do whatever, try new gimmicks out, or wrestle more. Not sit in catering, or not be told week in and week out that we don't have anything for you. Missing pay-per-views and WrestleMania. I mean, there's been a whole lot of things. I mean, the miss with Retribution and how that whole thing played out, I'm sure took a toll on him. The constant outrage from the fans online and them voicing, their opinions and how they feel about how underutilized he is and has always been ever since he's gotten to WWE. Him and Cedric Alexander and Tony Nese, they've had some great matches over the years that have just been like overlooked. Like no one really cared, like whether it's on 205 Live or the kickoff show for WrestleMania. Yeah. I've seen them all. And so I love Mustafa Ali, and it's unfortunate. And as far as the argument goes, I mean, he's not the first person to argue with Vince, and I'm sure he ain't the last. But usually when there's an argument, that means somebody's going out the door, and it ain't Vince.
Yeah, because I'm looking here on Wrestling Inc.'s website about the story, and looks like he has been able to return since first week of December. There was a vignette film for Ali's New America gimmick. Ali hasn't been pitched anything new to portray. The New America idea was apparently scrapped because the higher ups in the company changed their minds about how successful it would be. So it looks like Ali.
I liked it. He posted it on Twitter, and I really liked that.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. Okay.
Yeah, he posted it like a while back, and it sounded really good. Looked good too.
So it seems I'm sure he's frustrated that, like, okay, he feels like he has a lot more to offer to the company, and they're not using it.
Yeah, we
know he's an amazing wrestler. He's very creative. He has ideas. Apparently, he's trying to pitch them. No one's taking those ideas. And then the powers that be, Vince McMahon, has his own ideas, what he thinks he should be doing. He doesn't agree with that. And therefore, there's the argument unfolding from that. So, and then obviously, he just feels like, okay, well, I might as well ask for my release. It's unfortunate because just for what I've seen online, a lot of people do praise him. We all know, as you mentioned, he does amazing matches.
Yeah.
But he is someone that is creative and has fresh ideas, and I'm sure it's frustrating that you're trying to pitch ideas and no one's using them. So it's like, what am I still doing here? And it makes you kind of wonder what were Vince McMahon's ideas for him. I mean, maybe one day we'll find out. I'm sure maybe he'll do a shoot interview or something, explain what ideas Vince had for him that he didn't like or objected to.
Or Vince will give the gimmick to someone else, and then we'll find out from that person who it was where it originally came from.
Exactly. So that's my thing is so hopefully now I wonder, will he get his release? I mean, they have been releasing a lot of other people. I hope they don't keep him under contract just out of petty and be like, no, like, you're the one person we're just going to keep under contract. We just won't use you. Just send catering.
Right.
Because, they let Toni Storm get her release, Andrade, outside just the regular releases. You would think, okay, this is one extra contract we can get off the books, save some money, go ahead, leave. That's what I'm thinking. Yep. It should be a slam dunk to get his release, but we'll see if that actually happens. Hopefully he goes somewhere else that he can show not only his amazing in-ring work, but just, what creative gimmicks and characters he has. But he was one of the first people I remember was doing like a lot of social media videos and trying to create his own buzz and post stuff online. So the potential is there. And also, I'm sure for him, he's like, he has opportunity to kind of represent, a certain demographic and reach people in different ways. It is 2022. America is very diverse culturally. And so you would think, I'm sure for him, he's like, I can be a positive, strong baby face for people out there that see themselves in me. So I'm sure for him. So, there's a lot to break down with all that. So I'm sure for him, it is frustrating that like he thinks he has the power to do something. As he said, a message he wants to put out there, he can't get it done. So, so I wish him the best. I hope he, finds happiness if and when he does get released and can go somewhere else and just really shine. And he could probably be in main event or somewhere else. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, just because of time, one last other thing I'll just touch on. The other thing I can hold off another time for that. Corey Graves in the news. Apparently, he's reported he's been actually cleared to wrestle, and it's been cleared to wrestle since last year, apparently. So, for the longest time, he has been on the no contact list. I think a lot of people may not know he was a wrestler before he was a commentator. Wrestling NXT, Ring of Honor, a bunch of other places. But due to concussions, he had to retire early and made the switch over to commentary, started NXT, now obviously SmackDown and Raw. But now
I remember watching that episode of Breaking Ground.
And,
when he was offered the position to be, I guess, a commentator or like the role, he was like doing like the pre-show stuff before he was an actual commentator. But I remember he was like super like excited that he still got offered a position there.
Yeah.
No,
it's great. So yeah. With that being said, apparently he's been cleared, and he's been cleared for a while now, which kind of makes sense because remember a few months ago he was in that little 24/7 segment with him and Byron were rolling each other up and we're champions for a quick minute or a quick second, I should say. So it's like, wow, he took a roll up, so that's a form of contact. So exciting stuff. So I'm sure for him it's really amazing, and now I think a lot of people are excited that you see all these other names, Edge, Christian, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. A lot of people who've been retired for a long time due to injury are now coming back. He's like the latest name to add to that list. So yeah, just your thoughts on Corey Graves potentially making a wrestling comeback.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't know about him coming back to wrestle. I don't know where he would fit. And just in this style of, I don't want to say that. He would fit, but it's just, I don't know. It would be weird, I think, for a lot of people to disconnect. It'd have to be a really good story to see him just jump from the commentary back into the ring.
And that's the thing. It's like, I do want to, praise him. Like, this is awesome that he's able to come back. I'm sure he thought that was a part of his life that he can never go back into. So I'm happy for him.
I'm super happy that he even got cleared, because now, he can make that decision if he wants. If he wants to step back into the ring, whether it's WWE or anywhere else, he can do that. And that's cool, that because he didn't have that option the first time around. It just kind of got cut off and it happened. So yeah, I'm really glad.
I think for him in this situation, like, listen, I do enjoy him as a commentator, and I think that's his true calling. Mm-hmm. Is he going to come back and wrestle and be in the main event scene? Probably not.
Right.
But he does has a huge influence in the role of commentator, and we all know him for so long for doing that. So I think he should stay doing that, and then maybe every once in a while wrestle if it fits the storyline. Yes. That's the thing. We know him so well as like this heel commentator. We know his character already. It's so well established. So I think for him, he's in a good situation where he can wrestle every once in a while, and he could put over that story he might be getting into through his commentary. So he can really have some fun. I could see him easily maybe making a surprise appearance in the Royal Rumble, like Jerry Lawler jump out of the commentary desk and just run into the ring. That could be something fun for the Royal Rumble coming up next weekend. He's engaged to Carmella. Maybe they could do some mixed tag matches together, so they can like do some matches together. Maybe he could be like some sort of manager for her or talking piece as well. There are some fun creative possibilities here. Definitely. As far as him wrestling full time, I don't know. I do like him as a commentator, and I think he's better suited at that. But if he wants to wrestle every once in a while, if it fits a storyline, great. I think that'd be awesome. So, I just like, I think there could be some fun things there. And then, if he wants to get into a program, he can really sell it on the commentary. So really get people more involved, because he can like sell something throughout the night and reference stuff, because he has that voice on commentary. So, like I said, I'm happy for him.
He'd be a great heel, because I think personally, I don't think people like him very much.
Well, based on his Twitter tendencies, what he does on Twitter and what he says publicly.
So he'd be a great heel.
Absolutely. So
maybe him and Happy Corbin could go after the tag title.
That actually would be kind of funny if they did. So I do wish him the best, and we'll see what happens. I think he can have the best of both worlds, do commentary and do some occasional wrestling. So, all right, let's move on over to this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Packed show, so much lined up, and man, I didn't really waste a second here. Like, every segment was something important or moving along a story beat of some sort. Probably the biggest thing that they were promoting was the return of Jon Moxley. exciting stuff. As we talked about a few months ago, he's been gone for a while, entering rehab and whatnot.
Right.
But the timing of this was interesting, Brian. I don't know if you picked up on this. So what was it, last week or a week and a half ago, whatever? GCW has a big pay-per-view this weekend at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Sold out. It's probably the biggest venue they've ever performed in for their promotion. They announced Jon Moxley was going to be wrestling that night. And we're like, that's his first appearance back since going in the rehab and being off TV for so long. So I'm like, why is he going to GCW first before AEW? And then sure enough, a few days ago, they're like, oh yeah, he's returning on Dynamite this week. And it's like, all right, makes sense. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm sure GCW made the announcement, and I'm sure Tony Khan probably called Moxley like, whoa. You're coming back. You're good to come back now. You need to come to AEW first. We need to have that first appearance back, not GCW. Yep. No offense. We're paying your bills. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that's what happened. So, yeah. But tonight, Wild Thing starts playing, kick off the show. He comes out. He looks great. His face looks a little thinner, but he just looks energetic. Man. The crowd was going crazy for him. He cuts this amazing promo in the ring, which we can dissect in a second. But yeah, Brian, your thoughts on seeing the return of Jon Moxley here?
Oh, I was so happy. He looked great. Like a while back, I believe we were talking about Moxley, and I spoke about how he just didn't like. He looked very like puffy and just very like tired, and looked like he needed to just get some rest and take a break. But man, now he's lean. He looks like his even his hair, like he looks the way he looked when he debuted for AEW.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he reminded me of. And so it was so good to see him back. The fact that he was gone under the circumstances, it takes, you got to be real, it takes a lot to admit or to know that you have a problem and do something about it. And so I'm glad that he went and did that and went to rehab, and hopefully he's better now and continues to get better. And I'm glad. I know he's glad to be back, and he's gonna. What you said, that the GCW event was soon, right?
I think it's this Sunday.
Oh yeah, so
yeah. So it makes sense. It's like, AEW's like, wait a sec, GCW's getting your exclusive first match back. Nuh-uh. Like, we deserve your first televised appearance back,
right?
So I'm sure, because within like a couple days, they're like, oh yeah, AEW's like, yeah, he's coming back here first. So I don't blame AEW in that situation. It's like, listen, we're paying you the big bucks. Geez, we let you go out and do these outside appearances, GCW and stuff. You gotta give AEW credit. They've been very loose of letting people go appear elsewhere.
Oh yeah,
like FTR at Ring of Honor, Moxley, and a couple other people at GCW. I mean, so there's, in that situation. So I'm glad it worked out. But the promo itself was very powerful. I recommend you can check out AEW's YouTube page, or if you're listening right now, I'm sure you probably already watched it already. So I'm not going to go word for word, but just more or less the summary, Brian, here of like, that he's, back, and he's happy to be back in front of everyone. And, he discussed this dream. So he's trying to explain what he's been going through this dream and trying to sum it up. So it was interesting. Like, a while back, he was passed out on a plane ride, landed somewhere, doesn't remember where he landed, but he woke up from this really crazy dream where he was on a highway, all beaten up, and he's like bruised up, and this like demon in the form of like a black cloud was hovering over him and just like taunting him and telling him, sure, you've accomplished a lot in your life, but you don't deserve it. And so it was a really strong metaphor. People who have an addiction issue, they say they have these demons they're constantly battling. So that's a really cool or a really, I think, interesting way of making that connection. And so he more or less told the demon, to screw off, and he loves wrestling, and he's going to kick that demon's ass and any future's demon's ass, and he's going to keep on going and accomplishing a lot more, and he's hungry. 2022, he there's a lot more in wrestling he wants to do and accomplish. He's just fired up. He feels refreshed. So it got the crowd really amped up. So I don't know. Yeah. I think I summed it up right. Is there anything else I'm missing there?
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the nail, and I want to give credit to the crowd there, because you could literally, like, they had like he had their undivided attention. Like, you can literally hear people breathe. Yeah, that's how quiet it was.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, man.
I thought it was just a really good metaphor as far as what he's been dealing with, and like, he also said. He has a lot of scars, but the important ones are the scars inside that people can't see. Those are the scars that make us the people we are. Nobody should be ashamed. So it was really amazing as far as, talking about the demon. Like, he, as successful as he has been, he still has these demons he's constantly battling. So I thought that was a great metaphor, analogy he's using. And he has these scars of everything he's went through, but he's not ashamed of it because he's accomplished so much. And because of that, he's still hungry to accomplish a lot more. And if anything, I think he's trying to also say, like, he wants to be like a role model or positive influence for anyone who might be going through something similar, that you can accomplish your dreams and keep going. So I really took that whole thing as a positive message in Jon Moxley's vocabulary and presentation of doing a promo. So
definitely,
I loved it, and so the crowd was amazing. And then, however, that one dumbass troll. Yeah, at the beginning of the promo, from what people were tweeting, apparently this guy yelled at, like, get your drunken piece of trash out of the ring. And then Moxley said, get the F out of here. And so for anyone who saw that, it's on their AEW's Twitter page. You can see it. So just like, sometimes some wrestling fans are just idiots. Like, don't be a troll. This guy's gone through so much for our enjoyment. And he's opening up to us right now, pouring his heart out about what he's going through. And some guy's saying stupid crap like that. It's like, just get out. Like, don't be a troll like that. You got to support someone. So
absolutely.
Anyway, just amazing promo, and see what he does next, man.
He might have fired Moxley up after that, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. True. Totally. I just kind of curious, where does he go from here? I'm excited he's back, because I think Eddie Kingston's been kind of wandering aimlessly, because I think Eddie Kingston and him were such a fun pairing and storyline. But with Moxley gone, Eddie Kingston's kind of just floating around. He had the one little program with CM Punk that was only a few weeks long. Other than that, he's been kind of butting heads with Chris Jericho. So I wonder, does Moxley and Eddie Kingston get back together? Does Moxley still enter, like, maybe back in the world title picture? There's a lot of moving parts here. And it's his first night back. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But just looking ahead, I know the rumor was he was going to turn heel last year to, the finals of the tournament. Tournament. With Bryan Danielson kind of inherited that role.
Yep.
Right. Again, Miro. Oh, I'm totally blanking right now.
Yeah. But anyway, Miro took his place.
Yeah, Miro took his place in the tournament. And then Bryan ultimately won the tournament, but then Bryan still kind of turned heel anyway for Hangman. So it makes you kind of wonder when Moxley turned heel and be Hangman's first opponent out of the gate. So
what that would have done going forward,
Yeah. So I for right now, I'm glad Moxley's still a babyface.
Hangman even be champion right now if that happened. I don't know.
So yeah, I'm curious to see where Moxley goes from here. I think it's good for the main event scene. Something. As far as maybe a credible opponent for a Hangman down the road, or maybe against CM Punk at some point. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. CM Punk, I think would be fun, because remember the rumor when the Shield first debuted? God, it's been 10 years ago now. But, I think CM Punk originally want them as like his heavies, right? Or his like security or faction. but instead they just made the Shield their own thing, a 3-man group. But I think originally CM Punk wanted them as his backup. So yeah, maybe they can touch on that somehow.
I thought that they were when they first debuted. I was like, oh my God, they're here to help Punk.
They did, yeah, because they took out Ryback, because Ryback and CM Punk were wrestling each other at that time, right? If I remember, October. Man,
yep.
I can't, man. Now I'm trying to think about it's all fresh because they've been airing some of this on SmackDown with the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns feuds. I've been seeing all that like old footage again. So, so first match of the night was Adam Cole and his girlfriend Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Orange Cassidy and Kris Statlander. You know, I was tired,
baby.
A couple of things here. One, interesting. Last week on Dynamite, we got to see Adam Cole and Britt Baker on screen together, fully acknowledging their boyfriend and girlfriend. Britt Baker went in for the kiss instead of the Young Bucks kissing him on the cheek.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, like, is she a female member of the Elite now, or at least acknowledging, you know, hey, they're a boyfriend girlfriend, and they're just doing this mixed tag thing against the best friends right now. I will say this. I was like half asleep because I woke up from a nap, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole. This match was a little frustrating the first half. I don't know about you. I was a little annoyed just because you got Orange Cassidy and his style. Listen, I know he has his fan base. People like his wrestling style, his gimmick. It's not completely for me, but I get why people like it. But nonetheless, I see Adam Cole, the longest reigning NXT world champion, won world titles all around the world, different promotions. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. When I see him in a match with Orange Cassidy, I feel like it's such a step back for him. And I get it. Maybe this is more of just his first big feud in AEW. He's still new. They don't have any. This is just like a warm up feud before maybe he moves up to like more of the main event scene in the near future. So they're just kind of warming him up, getting the crowd familiar with him, this audience. But I was just frustrated because like I see like the kicks Orange Cassidy doing with Britt Baker, and you know he's doing the mocking stuff with Adam Cole, and I'm just like shaking my head. I'm like, Adam Cole's so much better than this. Like he should not be doing this. I thought the second half of the match really picked up. And then, you know, Orange Cassidy finally brought out some intensity, was hitting the turnbuckle. It's like, okay, now he's starting to look more like a credible opponent for Adam Cole here. But yeah, I mean, your thoughts on how this match played out here?
Yeah, well, first I want to acknowledge the fact that while I'm okay with Adam Cole and Britt Baker, you know, being shown on screen. We all know that they're a couple and they're together. So that's cool. But I will say that there is a number of fans out there that criticized when Seth and Becky were forced on screen together. Right. And so you kind of have to think like what that may do for Adam Cole or Britt Baker. I remember that being the conversation at one point, like, this kind of makes Becky being the man, the badass character, the gimmick that, or the image that she portrays, kind of like waters it down if she's sitting here hanging out with
step down.
Yeah, step down. Yeah, like hanging out with her husband or boyfriend or whatever they were at that time. And then same for Seth. Like he's Universal Champ, I think, at that time, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, right?
Yeah. And so it's just like, people are already mad at him because of the Fiend stuff, and you know,
he beat Brock right for the title. Yeah.
You know, oh no, that was before the Fiend stuff, right?
It was before the Fiend. Yeah.
Oh man,
it was a few months. But it was right after he beat Brock for the Universal title.
Right after he beat Brock. So so the Becky stuff was the beginning of the end for
his babyface run.
Yeah. You know, so and while Cole and Britt aren't like Seth, like they're not Seth and Becky, right? I'm not trying to put them all on the same caliber, you know, or whatever, but I don't know. I felt like it was just a little too soon while Britt Baker is still, in my opinion, trying to, who I think should be rising up and trying to prove herself why she's, you know, one of the greatest women's wrestlers or wrestlers, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she shouldn't have any distractions or intertwining, you know, her feuds or stories with Cole or anybody for that matter. The Elite. I mean, you don't need the Elite. You know what happened to where's Jamie Hayter? Where's her gang at? Like, what happened?
Yeah, where's Rebel? I like Rebel.
Yeah, what
I
happened?
need Rebel.
The match, I agree with you from the beginning, was a little. I'm getting tired of the little kicks and everybody going, oh, you know,
the hands down in the pocket. I'm like, come on, man, dude. Adam Cole, like 6 months ago, was having blood feud match with Kyle O'Reilly on like Takeover and you know, matches with Cross and I mean Johnny Gargano, they're legendary bouts. It just, I'm with you. I'm like, he deserves better, but like I think this is just a good match to hold him over until things open up, maybe in the main event scene, then he can move his way on up. So, like I said, he's fresh to the company. They're not going to skyrocket him right away. They're going to build him up. But it's interesting, though, because as you mentioned, Adam Cole and Britt Baker, like acknowledging their relationship on TV, working together. You can argue Britt Baker is one of the most over people in the company, even more than Adam Cole right now still. Do you think she is actually being brought down a little bit in order to work with Adam Cole? Like, she was so over on her own. Like, do you think she's taking a step back because of now working with Adam Cole? It's like she could have just maybe stayed doing her own thing.
Yeah, possibly. And you know, I feel like it's just so much happening all at once for the both of them, you know, like we don't know whether to look at Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, or Adam Cole and Britt Baker, or Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Is Britt Baker, like you said, is she a new member of the Elite? Where is she with them now? Like, you know, it's a great opportunity for, you know, any woman, I feel like, to take advantage of the distractions and take that championship off Britt Baker.
I mean, I what I did like about this match is Kris Statlander. I think she's an amazing performer.
Oh yeah, she
really, you know, just athletic. Just was doing great things with Britt Baker in this ring. And to her credit, you know, she took the Canadian Destroyer, or Panama Sunrise, whatever you want to call it, from Britt Baker on the outside. And that's the thing, that move, the person who is taking it has to do a lot of the work as far as flipping over, and then the other person just rolls with it. So, you know, Kris Statlander sold it like $1 million to make Britt Baker look great on the outside, the ramp there. And then sure enough, they had the table set up. Orange Cassidy bumped into Britt Baker. She fell into the table. Adam Cole got mad when the ref wasn't looking, you know, hit him in the nuts, and then did the last shot on him and got the win, checked on his girlfriend. And then had the interview in the back, and it was furious, and he wants a lights out match next week at Beach Break. So we're gonna get one more match between them. So hopefully it's the blow off match here. So
Orange Cassidy will become one of the greatest wrestlers in the world after that lights out match.
I mean, we'll see what happens here. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna start out with his spots of, like, you know, hands up, hands in the pocket, kicking, and then, you know, Adam Cole gets pissed off.
It's kind of like Festus when you ring the bell and then he turns it.
He's a good brother now. So anyway, now we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm glad, I guess it's going to be done on regular TV and not on a pay-per-view. So that's the silver lining in all this. But let's see what else we want to talk. There's so much happened here, but I mean, you know, for the sake of time and stuff, CM Punk comes out, wrestles Shawn Spears, defeats him in 5 seconds while MJF's on commentary. Like, bell rings, hits to go to sleep, and wins. Like,
we might need to check the record books and see. He might have. He might have defeated Aaliyah's time.
Exactly.
Her win over Natty on SmackDown.
And so CM Punk comes in the ring, and MJF comes in the ring. CM Punk chases him, grabs his scarf while he runs out. So it's just adding more tension. You know, I like what they're doing. MJF and CM Punk have this feud, but they're not touching each other. MJF keeps running away. So when he eventually does, CM Punk lays his hands onto him, it's going to mean that much more. So, I do want to touch on, in the back, MJF apologized to Wardlow, but he said, "You did touch me though, so I'm going to lower your pay." And so they're adding more tension for Wardlow. So I was going to ask you, MJF has two storylines going simultaneously. He's got the CM Punk storyline and he has the Wardlow storyline.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want Wardlow to turn on him right now. I think you wait.
Yes.
You wait let CM Punk be the main storyline that he's dealing with right now. Yep. Wardlow come later. There's a lot of similarities people are drawing between Triple H and Batista here. Mm-hmm. Let's save that. I think Wardlow turns on it.
Or it could be Hogan and Macho Man.
Yeah, exactly. I think, I do believe MJF is going to be the one to win the title off Hangman at some point. He's so over. Makes sense. Babyface to heel transition. I think when that happens, I think that's when Wardlow turns on him and he'll have a stronger impact because it'll be surrounded the title picture. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So, we'll see how that goes. All right. Another thing I got to talk about, the return, friend of the show, one of my best friends in the world of pro wrestling, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, makes his big return. We haven't seen him in a couple weeks. He didn't wrestle at Battle of the Belts because he had COVID or he had to be at home, COVID protocol. Makes his big return tonight and cuts this promo. Man, there's a lot to unpack in this promo. Brian, I'll turn to you though. Him coming out, your thoughts on what he said, what he accomplished here.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was a little confused because he was talking about everything. I mean, he mentioned the pipe bomb, he talked about the Forbidden Door and said that he built the Forbidden Door. And it was just a whole lot while there's this huge ladder standing in the ring. I'm like, okay, obviously this is going to lead to, a big ladder match announcement, but what is he doing? And then I kind of felt I was conflicted because I didn't know how to feel about it because some fans were booing, but then some fans were cheering. And I still don't know, did his promo tonight, was his goal to make people cheer or was it to make people boo or did it not matter for him?
I'm at the point now, I think where Cody's trying to accomplish with his character is I forget where I heard it, but is he's a heel, but he doesn't know he's a heel. He thinks in his mind he's a baby face.
Okay.
I think that's the easiest way to look at it is he's a bad guy, but in his mind, everyone else thinks he's a bad guy except for him. In his mind, he's a baby face, and he thinks he's doing everything the baby face way.
Okay, see, and that makes sense because he mentioned that, the reason why I won't turn heel is because you guys chanted for me. You guys cheered me, and it kind of got a mixed reaction. The people in the front row were clapping, but then you can hear people being like, boo.
But at the same time, the crowd was booing him so hard. But to his credit, by the end of it, they were cheering for him again.
Yeah.
That is tough to do. So yeah, in the span of this, and I love his promo style. He's pretty much doing a one-man show. His mannerisms, he's acting and he's performing. So, I like that. It's he has his back turned to the camera, to the hard cam, and then he spins and turns, looks at the camera. I was like, ta-da! I like that. It was just he is one of the best talkers on the microphone. Now, like I said, there was a lot of stuff thrown in there. A lot of it was a lot of insider talk, especially recent dirt sheet related wrestling news and rumors. So I think for a lot of the casual fans who might have been watching, they're like, what is he talking about? I have no idea. So that was my one little issue. For me, and I'm sure a lot of us hardcore fans oh, he said that. Oh, he's referring to that. Oh my God, that's great. But yeah, the casual person's huh? When he said he had a contract for the TNT Championship, he said, this is not the contract I wanted. but you and I, we know, so that's what I was going to touch on as well. So it was reported a few days ago that he's currently a free agent. Apparently his contract expired end of 2021. He's been a free agent right now. So technically he can leave the company. So that's the reference he was making. Like, he's trying to work out a new deal right now. Yep. On a side note, we'll get more into the promo, but yeah, your thoughts on him as a free agent? Do you think he's actually going to leave?
No, I don't think he's going to leave. No way. I think, for all we know, he could be signed right now, right? But I don't know. I seen someone on Twitter say that maybe this could be a way to get him to challenge for the championship because he technically isn't under contract, right? Mm-hmm. Get him to resign. All right, give me a championship match. Something like that I think would be really cool. I think they got whatever ideas they have. I know that something's up his sleeve and Cody's going to make something out of this. I like the slow burn though. I'm glad it's not like happening right away. I know that him being gone and the interim championship situation was kind of like a whoops out of nowhere type thing, but they're making the most of it.
Well, the thing here is, I think Meltzer brought up a good point at the end of the day, was like, well, technically, his contract expired in December, but if he's been at home with COVID, for 10 days or 2 weeks, whatever the protocol is that they're going by, he hasn't had a chance to probably sign anything or do any negotiate because he's been so busy quarantining himself. So it might be just a bad timing. Like the contract expires and he's away from business, so he can't get anything done. Now, granted, they could send him something. He could print it out at home, sign it, scan it, send it back. I get that. But at the same time, he's not able to go in person and discuss details probably and figure all that stuff out because he's been quarantining. So it just could be a timing. And then when I heard his contract expired, it is wrestling. It could be a work. Yeah. Like I could easily see him, using this as a storyline element, story beat. And it makes me kind of wonder if Cody, does Cody leak this stuff out to different wrestling news websites, knowing that they will report this and he can use this as part of a storyline angle? Yep. Like he's working everyone. He's like, I'm going to give them all this info. They're going to report on it. People are going to start speculating. All the outlets and podcasts and shows are going to talk about it, talking about me. It's going to add to my character, and then I can use it as a story beat, and people are going to tune in, see if I'm going to say anything. So it's one big circle. Like that's why if I ever have a chance to talk to Cody privately, that's what I want to say is like, man, you do an amazing job of just getting everyone on you.
And even towards the end of his promo tonight, everyone. Even towards the end of his promo tonight, when he had, I forgot exactly how he said it, but he said something and he was like, something contract, and he's like, wasn't the one that I wanted. But
I mean, that's the thing. It's like at the end of the day, like, people are like, he could go back to WWE. Yeah, he could, but will he be happy, or will he be just back at Stardust and having to listen to someone else tell him what to do versus being AEW, which is the second largest platform or promotion he can work with, has more creative freedom, can do what he wants. He has the reality show. He has other business ventures, the Go Big show, TV game show hosting. Sure, he could go back to WWE, but is the payday or whatever they offer and the lack of creative control better than what he has currently right now? No, it makes sense for him to stay with AEW. So that's why I don't see him going anywhere. All this rumors about it is just going to be used for his own storyline. That's how I see it as. So, but for the promo itself, a lot of insider talk, which I enjoyed. I love listening to Cody talk, the way he almost like preaching and just speaks with such conviction and confidence. I enjoyed all of it, but there's a lot of insider stuff I think a lot of people might not know. Your thoughts? He more or less said he was he referenced CM Punk's pipe bomb and how revolutionary it was, and then how he was part of the wrestling revolution. He won't turn heel because he knows everyone wants to cheer for him or when he needed it most. but also that, he was the one who he started the Forbidden Door. He built the Forbidden Door. I was like, whoa, because he went, from WWE to New Japan, Ring of Honor. He's the connective tissue that brought everyone together.
Yeah.
So it's more like it's a backhanded way of saying you owe all this to me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, where the heel part comes in, where like I said, he's a heel, but he thinks he's a baby face, and he thinks he's doing everything right. But in reality, everyone's like, no. You get what I'm saying? So, like, in his mind, he's like, this is all because of me. You guys should enjoy this because of me. Therefore, you need to cheer me.
Yep.
But in reality, everyone's hating him for it. So, yeah, what'd you think about just kind of like him as the gateway to the Forbidden Door?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded good. It made sense, and honestly, it makes more sense now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's playing that role like it's almost like he's like crazy in a sense, like like I'm doing everything. This is what you guys want, right? Like,
yeah.
No, you guys love me. I love you guys like that. You know what I mean? It's almost like he's giving us. Like he's showing us what it's like to be, an executive / wrestler and how he honestly would. I think he should use that as part of his story too. Like, the fact that he's an executive, an EVP and a wrestler and how stressful that is, and having to be politically correct, and he's got to say all the right things, he's got to do all the right things, and and the feud with what's his name, the governor.
Wait,
oh, what's his name,
Governor? I was gonna say Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wait, which
he had that feud that America.
The boxer.
Yeah.
Where'd that guy been? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Hold on. Boxer. Let me look. Anthony Ogogo. And so, yeah, like even that, like he's gone through so much, right? Like so many different things where people have looked at Cody and been like, I don't know what's going on. Well, the other thing that's funny too is like he says, "Look, I'm gone for 2 weeks, and looks what happened." Some other guy named Brody comes to AEW, and he's like calling out Brody Lee or not Brody King with Malachi Black at House of Black. He said, "That's really bold of you to come to AEW and go by the name Brody." And then he said, "My friend in 8 years can't confront you about that," more or less referring to Brody Lee's son, -1. Yeah. He just turned 10 or 11. So, 8 years, he'll be an adult and probably want to be wrestling by then. And that'd be interesting. In 8 years, will we see Brody King versus Brody Lee Jr. at some point? 8 years from now. That's going to be the main event for All Out.
Yeah.
And then, he talks about the TNT Championship and said,
finally.
The only reason it's considered a secondary championship right now is because there's two of them, his and the interim champion, Sammy Guevara. And then he climbed the ladder and challenged Sammy Guevara to a unification match at Beach Break, which we all kind of assumed that was going to happen. Champion versus champion when you got two titles.
Sure.
I mean, I saw a lot of people love this promo. A lot of people were against it. He is a very polarizing figure. What he says does that a lot. It's interesting. A lot of people who hated it said this 5-minute promo could have been cut down to the last minute. It was just more or less challenging Sammy Guevara for the match. He climbed up the ladder. I enjoyed the promo. I love Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, here's my thing. If he is playing this heel who thinks he's a babyface, but he's oblivious to it all, I'm going to be like that too as a fan. I'm going to be oblivious to that and embrace Cody as the babyface. I love it. I'm all for it. So, but that was the thing. It was just more or less the whole point of the promo was to challenge Sammy Guevara, but he had to run down all these other talking points. CM Punk, revolutionary, but he's also revolutionary for wrestling. Why won't turn heel? He's the reason for the Forbidden Door. Oh, I popped when he called out, Adam Cole, but Red Dragon. He's like, you guys graduated from hip toss school. Oh God, what was the actual quote?
He called him developmental.
Yeah, but yeah, you guys still. But I'm not going to wrestle you guys because you're developmental. Referring, their time in NXT, because we all know people who wrestle NXT got to go to Performance Center and learn their system. So yeah, he's more or less saying Red Dragon's below him because they're just developmental guys from NXT. So I was like, oh my god, there's so much to unpack in that promo. I mean, and I'm sure all the things he referenced could be used for future storylines while people want to go after him now. It's like, you said, what about me? So I love this promo. Like I said, it was a lot of inside talk and things and he's talking about journalists too. He's like, where's the receipts? Check the receipts. I said this and this. I'm like, my God, this is so much here to unpack. Like, I want to watch it again just for what he said. So I can't wait. I hope he wins, beats Sammy Guevara, becomes the, once again, official TNT champion, and then goes something. But I think also as well, if and when he gets a new contract, he can use that to his advantage. My old contract says I can't challenge for the title anymore, but my new contract allows me to go after the world championship. So maybe he does enter that title picture soon. I don't know.
It's a very clever way. If they do that, then I'm gonna give them a big applause, because that would be a very interesting. Because I've been sitting here ever since he lost the opportunity to challenge for the world title. I've always been asking myself, what can he do to get? Because I feel like that's what he needs. What can he do to get back in that main event scene to challenge for the championship? What can he do? Yeah, and I think that would be great.
Does he put his EVP status on the line? Like either I lose that or I win the title or not. So yeah, since we're running a little bit long on time, I just want to acknowledge real quick, Jericho, Santana, Ortiz. Do you think this is the official breakup of the Inner Circle at some point?
Yeah,
like
I
the way
think
it's
so.
going. Yeah, Santana, Ortiz look like they're not trusting Jericho as much anymore. Or they think their lack of success is due to him. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not a fan of Lance Archer aligning himself with Dan Lambert. So now he has two talking heads between Jake the Snake Roberts and Dan Lambert. I thought his match with Frankie Kazarian took way too long. Should have been more of a squash if they're trying to set him up as the next monster for Hangman. Let's see. Serena Deeb, badass in the ring. Just took Sky Blue to wrestling school and just demolished her. So
dominated her.
She's amazing. Love her. And then Andrade, now like the official owner of HFO, Hardy Family Office. I'm like, no, get Andrade away from the worst faction in AEW. I'm not a fan of that.
Hardy Family Office spends way too much time on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation for me. I think Andrade needs to stay. And where's Pac? And I mean, well, we know where Pac is now.
Pac is going to come back. So yeah, House of Black destroyed a Varsity Blondes pretty short fashion, but then it looks like Pac is going to challenge Malachi Black, so that's going to be cool considering 5 years ago they wrestled each other in NXT UK. So when Tommy Inn first joined NXT, so looking forward to that rekindled matchup there. And just last thing, main event, Darby Allin Sting took on the Acclaim. The Acclaim, Max Caster's raps. Like when he called out Sting, this is the worst happened to you in DC since Starrcade '97. Oh man. In the mutilation line as well as Max Caster is awesome. He's good when he makes his rhymes in reference to like things going on in current events in AEW. But the main event, it was okay. It was lackluster a little bit. Like Darby got taken out early with the chair shot on the neck on the pole. Sting was wrestling by himself, but Sting was not going to take any major bumps, so he was dominating for the most part. This 60-something-year-old guy taking out two young guys in the 20s. Yeah, it's like, okay, Darby made the big comeback, return, save, and they end up winning, beating the Acclaim. I don't know, anything else from that main event that stood out for you?
I mean, other than Sting, kind of like. I mean, he took that. What did he do? Did he jump off the railing onto the table?
He took a dive onto the table.
Yeah, like that. And it didn't. And it almost didn't go well because it was almost like he missed him
a little too short. Yeah,
a little. Yeah, so it's like got to be careful there. But he got up, he recovered, and I don't know, man. He's going backwards. But then, like you said, it's not like he's not wrestling full matches by himself.
Yeah,
taking huge bumps. And I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter. They're like, "Oh my god, he's this old. He's taking bumps." I'm like, "All right, chill out."
They're not that hard. He's like rolling down to the side. It's not like he's putting. Yeah, they're very simple, soft bumps, if there's such thing as a softer bump. No, I think people are overreacting a little bit. So
definitely,
no, they're protecting him properly.
It was a little, and I think the match and the ending was just a little bit predictable. Darby coming back into the match, they helping Sting, and then coffin drop 1, 2, 3.
I mean, I get it. It's a big deal. Like, oh, Sting's first time on TBS in 20-something years. I was like, what was that? Was that like Thunder back in the day?
Yeah.
WCW Thunder.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fine. But it was like, okay. I mean, did we ever get a reason why Sting and Darby Allin aligned themselves to begin with? Because it's been like about a year now.
I mean, like, other than the fact that Sting,
there's similarities. Like look wise, and
he said he connected with Darby because of like the face paint and why he does the face paint.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. I mean, how do you separate them? Is this Darby? Like, how do you separate them? How do you do you separate them and make it like, do you do it WWE style and have them fight each other at one of the big pay-per-views? Or do you just have them respectfully just go their separate ways? And when they do that, what happens with Sting? Like, is Sting done with?
I don't know. Where does Sting go after all this?
Yeah.
And then I kind of wonder, is Darby being held back because he always has to do stuff with Sting around? Like, could he? So we'll see. 2022, how will that relationship unfold moving forward? So anyway, like I said, this is okay main event. I mean, however, I can look past it because, like I said, this show was so packed with so many segments and promos and matches and so it was a lot of fun. So looking forward to Beach Break next week in Cleveland, Ohio.
That's right.
I wonder who can make a surprise appearance there. I hope it's someone with a rebel heart. That's what I'm hoping for. May have some superhero inspired gear, and he was not afraid to bet on himself.
Nope.
And if Adam Cole is wrestling, this person could potentially, who has some history beef in the developmental promotion NXT.
That is true.
So I'm just hoping. Yeah, just throwing it out there.
Yep.
Yes. Johnny Gargano, for anyone wondering, can read between the lines.
And it feels, it's like right on schedule. It's been a few weeks, nothing major has happened. I mean, outside of like Brody King, but it seems about time for them to, drop a bomb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes out. So, all right. Well, on that note, let's start wrapping things up. Brian, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
Kliqsters, you guys can find me at BrianTronic on all your social media platforms. God, I haven't said that in so long. It's just social. And you guys can follow my show at Within the Ropes on Twitter and Instagram, which will be returning very, very soon. Thank you for being patient.
It's all good. I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey 83. Of course, for everything else at In The Kliq on social media. Subscribe to us where we get your podcasts at. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Watch the videos. Leave a comment. Hit that like button as well. All that good stuff. InTheKliq@gmail.com. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.